Spekular, TRON. Autonomous Event Resolution Capability, designed to remain autonomously operational in any situation or event. Spekular TRON has two main areas of application. On the one hand, applications in remote locations where human intervention is slow or very limited, and a product is required with a completely reliable and rapid response capacity for problem solving and a guarantee of permanent supply to keep essential activities running, which may even affect critical aspects such as survival. These cases are often associated with limitations on the use of conventional energy sources, either because there is a maximum administrative quota for the use and employment of the public grid, or because there are restrictions on fuel supply. On the other hand, applications in industrialized countries where deficiencies in conventional supply networks can seriously compromise the economic viability of industrial business activities, limiting and impeding the growth of such companies, or simply hindering and obstructing their ordinary activity to the point of seriously compromising their viability and, therefore, their continuity. In order to address these areas of application, Spekular TRON has been specifically designed to remain operational regardless of the operating conditions it faces. Spekular TRON is characterized by two features that make it a unique product. On the one hand, it houses the most advanced power electronics currently available, which gives it the robustness and reliability required, making it a foolproof product. On the other hand, it is equipped with all the necessary control tools to resolve any situation it may encounter, always maintaining its activity in a completely autonomous manner and without requiring user or operator intervention at any time. Of all the events that can occur during Spekular TRON's operation, there is one in particular that could compromise its ability to provide continuity in electrical service. Let's see what this event is and how Spekular TRON manages it. Let's assume that Spekular TRON is subjected to unplanned excess power consumption, which is common and unpredictable when a lot of power-consuming machinery is operating simultaneously. If Spekular TRON detects that this excess power consumption compromises the integrity of the battery by demanding more power than it was designed for, it will display an alarm on the screen indicating that this excess power is occurring. Each time this excess power occurs, Spekular TRON will analyze the continuous duration of the excess power. If the maximum allowed duration of this excess power is exceeded, the command to activate the permitted auxiliary power source will be given immediately. In this case, it is the generator set. At the same time that Spekular TRON gives the command to activate the auxiliary source, two simultaneous analysis processes begin. On the one hand, the duration of the auxiliary source activation process is analyzed, which has a maximum allowed limit. If this time is exceeded, the Spekular TRON system will temporarily withdraw from consumption. If the maximum allowed time is not exceeded, it will begin to analyze the evolution of the consumption power. If the auxiliary source is successfully activated within the allowed time period, Spekular TRON will continue to monitor, on the one hand, that even when the auxiliary source is activated, the maximum power allowed for the battery is not exceeded, and on the other hand, the evolution of the consumption power. If at any given moment, Spekular TRON detects that power consumption has normalized within the levels allowed for the battery, it will initiate a process in which it will analyze whether this normalization of power is maintained for a minimum parameterized time. If the minimum time for the power consumption to remain within the permitted levels for the battery is reached, Spekular TRON will give the command to stop the auxiliary source, continuing to monitor the power required from the battery for consumption. If battery power greater than the maximum permitted power is required, and the auxiliary source cannot be activated within the maximum time allowed for its activation, or if, even when the auxiliary source is activated, the power required from the battery is greater than the maximum permitted, as is the case shown on the screen, Spekular TRON will withdraw from consumption for a period of time, or until consumption normalizes, at which point it will reconnect to consumption to continue its operation as long as the consumption power has normalized.